1. I'm a 20-year-old female and have been working in the restaurant business since I was 14. I have seen numerous amounts of people come and go, both customers and co-workers. I became a server about 4 years ago at the local small business, and I thought I've seen how far people really take things. About 5 months ago, I had a party come into my restaurant with 2 adults and 3 children. They sat down in my section, and I already had a bad feeling about them. At first, when I went to start them off with drinks, one of them was on the phone with both the adults completely ignoring me. So I asked again, and the kids started screaming out drinks. So I asked if it was okay to get them those, and the mom said, "Sure, whatever." I asked her again what she would like, and no answer. I brought the kids their drinks and the adults waters just in case. When I dropped them off, they then asked if they came free with kids' meals. I told them yes, as long as they bought kids' meals. I then left them alone for a few minutes to look over the menu. So I went back about 5 minutes later and told them that the kitchen will be closing in about 20 minutes, just so they aren't blindsided. They ordered then, and I continued on serving others and cleaning up for closing. I brought out their food, and they started eating. Mind you, they got a meal for each kid, so drinks were free since they all got fountain drinks. And the adults got 2 meals each plus 2 drinks each. Drinks they asked other servers for, thinking I wouldn't add it to the check. So I went to check on them halfway through, and they said they didn't like the food, so I asked if something was wrong with it. It was half-eaten. Told me, "No, I just don't like it and I wanted to try it," for both of their second meals. I said, "Okay, would you like me to throw it out?" He told me yes, so I did. The meal went on and I dropped off their checks, and I knew they were going to have an issue with it since I hadn't taken off the meals. As they were calling me over, they asked why I hadn't taken it off, and I told them I didn't have the manager's code in order to do that, even though I did. They asked for the manager, and she also told them that we don't take off food if you just don't like it. And they weren't very happy with that answer. Then complained that I pressured them to get more food, as if that's not my job. So they threatened to walk out screaming, "I'm not paying for this shit food. Okay, fine, call the police on me." And, "You're making me look like a bad guy in front of my kids." So we called the police. They were forced to pay by the officer, and they were trespassed. She called her husband, and he started threatening me and my co-workers. This went on for days by him. Should I have just comped the check rather than starting a fight? Am I the asshole? 2. Tonight at work, we had one table that was absolutely rude from the moment they sat down. They talked over me, gave me their dessert orders first, even though I asked for drinks and apps. They talked over me when I gave them my name. I took their order, which was as follows, in case she ever hears this and thinks I got it wrong, because she told my manager I didn't write it down, and that's why everything went wrong. 3 people, no kids, in the order they gave me. Brownie bite, no chocolate, sub caramel. 2 of 30 apps, spinach dip. 8-ounce steak, add onions, garlic butter, and 12 shrimp. Though after they didn't come out, she lied and said 6. No broccoli, sub green beans. Chicken and shrimp. This also hit the table fresh and off the grill, still sizzling. Told me it was cold and not the way she ordered. Add cheese to the mashed, extra butter, garlic on the side. Though she didn't want it cooked in it. Though it comes like that. Kids' meal, chicken Alfredo with broccoli and yogurt. No kids at the table to eat this. Salmon, well done, sub green beans. Then, after I walked away from the table and came back once they added mozzarella sticks, and on another trip added chicken wontons. I brought their drinks, too much ice, demanded new ones, brought them napkins, and she needed more. When I went to the table, she needed something every time, and I hadn't even delivered their apps at this point. She was yelling, "Excuse me," across the restaurant, and muttering under her breath about me every time I walked away. I did stop being nice, but I wasn't rude, and I took every request. Finally, when I brought the apps out, I brought app plates, and she inspected every plate for watermarks and thumbprints. She very forcefully handed them back to me and asked for new ones. I went into the back to get new ones, and my manager was already behind me, claiming they wanted another server and asked me what's wrong. I told them I don't know, because other than them being vocally rude, we were fine. and still think they jumped the gun, asking for a new server. The bartender was the only other one in the building and took it. They asked her for something every time she went to the table, a new drink, a refill, wrench, new plates, shots. Then when the food hit the table, it was all cold and wrong. Though they were the only ones eating in the entire place, it had no time to get cold. We took the food from the grill to the table, and the dishes that came on skillets were still sizzling. The bartender at that point came to me and yelled at me that I didn't ring it in right, because they asked for a new server after I had done 80% of the job. Then when I showed the bartender the ticket and that everything was rang in correctly, she was even madder. The only wrong, I will admit, was her steak was supposed to be medium and it came medium well, and the kitchen didn't put her added shrimp and onions on her steak. But it's a very easy fix. Didn't want it brought out, demanded a new steak. I couldn't blame her though, I wouldn't eat it well done, but her behavior and the way she treated everyone else is appalling. She demanded a new steak, to be remade, and cooked with shrimp and onions. The chicken dish comes with mushrooms and onions, then after they ate it, said they didn't want mushrooms or onions on it, though she never said that once to me or the bartender. We remade the two dishes. Then she had a problem with the yogurt with her kids' meal, claimed it tasted weird. She then had nothing nice to say about the bartender after the 9th trip to the table since the remake. I was so happy when she asked for a new server, and was only happier the more they continued. At the end, the entire restaurant was ignoring them. The bartender was sending our to-go staff out to bring her new sodas, new wrenches, and refills. Then they asked for the manager after the meals were remade, because the second round of shrimp were cold, though they weren't. Their bill was $80 before discounts, and because the customer is always right hasn't died yet, they got their steak for free. And shocker, $0 tip. Not that anyone expected them to tip in the first place. If you know the type, you know when they first walk in. I just can't believe the audacity people have these days, and I want to start a new line of merch that says, "Act the menu price." Because I'm so sick of people paying $1 pricing and expecting $1 million service, run you crazy and then no tip. Like, get a clue, bitch. The complete audacity for her to treat anyone like that, and then say we were rude and blame us, was crazy to me. We're not your slaves. I'm at work, and act the menu price. 3. So during last Saturday's evening shift, I had these two stray drinkers, a man and a woman, probably in their early 40s, wander from the bar area into the restaurant part and seat themselves on a table in my section. When this happens, we usually just politely explain to people, "Sorry guys, this part is for dining. If you're just in for drinks, the bar area is over there." And most of the time people are understanding, but also, sometimes, if the bar is really busy and the tables aren't actually needed at the time, we just let it slide. Anyway, so I tell our hostess that some drinkers sat themselves at my table and ask if I should kick them out. She says, "Nah, it's alright, they can be there for a bit." The bar is packed. So I just ignore them and continue to serve my actual guests. Just as I'm approaching the table opposite theirs to take an order, the woman loudly says, "Excuse me, the table's dirty," and points to a few crumbs in front of her. "Can you wipe it?" The way she said it rubbed me the wrong way, because it was as though she was accusing me of not keeping on top of the cleaning, but actually, if you just randomly walk in and sit yourself at a table that isn't ready yet, or for you in the first place, then you only have yourself to blame if it's dirty, right? But regardless, I just said, "Sure, I'll be 1 minute." Turned back to take the order from the other table, then went and got a spray and some roll to wipe it down for them. So I go over and wipe it down, but before I can leave, the woman goes, "There's still food here?" and points to, I kid you not, literal air. Like there is nothing there. But I wipe it down a second time anyway, just to appease her. Side note that it's literally Saturday night and all of my other tables have guests on them, and these people aren't even supposed to be here, let alone getting service from me. As I'm about to leave again, she shrieks, "It's still dirty!" and again points to the flawlessly clean table. I'm dumbfounded, but I figure maybe she's confused by the pattern of the table. They're metal and kind of have that effect where it looks like it has water stains all over it. So I kindly explain, "Oh, I think it's just a sort of mottled pattern on the table." But then her husband, who had been inert up to this point, snatches the spray out of my hand and furiously sprays it all over this one spot she'd been pointing at. He then thrusts his palm out at me to ask for some of the roll. I just kind of silently obliged and handed him the bunch I was holding, and he goes in on this table as if he's literally trying to erode it into a pile of dust. Then he shoves the spray and roll back into my hands as if to say, "That's how you clean a table." Obviously, the table looks completely the fucking same, and I, still dumbfounded, just stare at him, then walk off. It honestly takes me a minute to stop being confused and realize I'm pissed off. I don't really feel like tolerating their existence in my vicinity now, so I relay what happened to the hostess, who says, "I'll sort it out," and heads over to the table. "Hey guys, really sorry, but we need this table for a booking now." We don't.
Do you need it literally right now?
Yes.
Like this exact second?
Yes.
Well, the bar is full. What do you expect us to do, stand?
Yes. So they angrily leave and stand in the bar for a good half hour with their drinks, watching over their ex table, probably waiting to see if we actually do use it. We don't use it at all, and I'm fully expecting them to seek a manager to complain about us, but perhaps they had the humility to realize that they were just asses and got evicted for it. 4. So this happened yesterday. I'm a barkeeper in a hotel. I've been for nearly 5 years now. I used to be full-time but had to go part-time due to personal reasons. Still, my team seemed to really care about me. This is something that was really solidified for me yesterday with how they rallied to my aid. The Christmas shift is widely considered to be the easiest shift of the year for us in this hotel, as everything is booked in advance. The food all pre-ordered and 0 last-minute reservations or walk-ins will be taken on the day. The atmosphere is always great, and we all frequently get told by our customers how we're doing a good job and how we're really making their Christmas special. We all basically went about our work with a consistent, warm, fuzzy feeling. Until 10 minutes before the end of my shift, a woman comes up to the bar and, if she had a theme tune, it would have been Cold as Ice by Foreigner. She stared daggers into my soul before I was even able to open my smiling mouth to greet her. The following is a recreation of the exchange we had, to the best of my recollection. "I would like to see the wine list," she sneered. Okay, no problem. Although I should mention we don't actually have an independent wine list per se, as much as a dedicated page within our whole drinks menu. "You have got to be joking me." She didn't shut, but the way she articulated her words pierced my soul. I felt myself shrink under her oppressive gaze. I should add that I'm an extremely anxious person, and confrontation has always left me close to tears and a sick feeling in my stomach. Regardless, I carried on, hoping we'd just gotten off on the wrong foot. I grabbed the menu for her and presented it to her. She snatched it from me, glances through it, and points to the wine page titled Wine. "What does this say?" she demands whilst pointing at the title. "Wine," I reply, thanking the gods that my voice was steady. "And what is this?" She snarls whilst gesticulating at the full menu. "A menu, or I suppose a list," I relent. At this point, the whole bar was silent. The jovial atmosphere had completely dissipated. I can't remember what she said after this, but the general gist is that she was ridiculing me and claiming I was refusing her a wine list when asked. Finally, I decided I'd had enough. "Madame, I am not going to stand here and be abused by you. If you want a drink, then you may speak to one of my colleagues, but I shall not be serving you." And I walked away. No one served her. I told the manager what I'd experienced, and she was furious. She marched into the bar and told the woman to leave the hotel. She said it was Christmas for us too, and that we are servers, not servants. Ultimately, my manager gave the woman 3 options. 1, return to her room and stay there for the duration of her visit, interacting with none of the staff. 2, leave the hotel and look for somewhere else. 3. Get her coat, and my manager would happily drive her home, then and there. No refund and barred from the establishment. The woman only actually lived 20 minutes away. She chose option 2. And actually has been barred anyway and blacklisted on booking websites. The whole team rallied around me to comfort me and tell me I did the right thing in walking away. I really felt appreciated and valued by my coworkers. I went on to have a lovely Christmas after that with my family, and I got some super cool D&D related presents, so it was a great day. Just could have done without the sour taste left in my mouth by that situation, at the end of what otherwise would have been a great shift. 5. Bartending at a destination semi-luxury hotel. Tonight was just another in a series of how the fuck did you become a manager? Over the last 3 days, I have run out of everything behind the bar and can't seem to get it through management's heads that I need more than, say, 1 bottle of whiskey that our signature drink is made with. I can make 30 to 40 a night of them, and that's easily 2 full bottles. That's just another example, but tonight's was the straw that broke. There was a party of 35 that no one told me about. That was to have an open tab at my already busy bar for 3 hours. Now we have an event going on this night with significant overflow, and I have several guests eating at the bar and bar tops, as well as many milling around with drinks. The party of 40 forms an orderly queue, good on them, but at the time they came up to start ordering, no one had told me of this group's existence. Not one of them ordered a beer. There were about 5 mixed drinks, maybe 3 sodas. The rest were all signature cocktails. Read 1 minute per drink to assemble the 6 to 8 ingredients, and garnish if it's all stocked and I'm moving fast. That have syrups, muddled ingredients, fancy garnishes that I can't do ahead of time. Shaken, strained, you get the picture. There is one bartender on the schedule here. Me. This is after having the last 6 months to hire anyone else. The place was being renovated until early November, and there was one other bartender for a few days before she quit. My direct supervisor did step in to help with my bar tops and service bar as I was 2x2'd by the large group. They would only order per couple, so lots of extra running. After having a heart-to-heart with the F&B manager this week, and being fed platitudes, I asked him tonight about the group. Well, we knew about them a month ago. You can stop talking now, you just told me all I need to know. He proceeded to tell me how it usually is. There is no usually. This is the first time since we've opened that we've booked this room. Does he mean literally 2 years ago when this place was last opened? I've been here 6 months. They usually just meet in the bar and trickle in, but I guess y'all arrived on time, and Madam came here together. I wasn't listening to excuses. You're betting my night on a 35 top not arriving all on time? Did he not know they were all staying at the resort? For fuck's sake. Oh, they straight up told you they were going to be coming into the bar when they got here, and that there was an open tab for them for the night, but you didn't tell me? Silence, and he walked away. I gave him 2 days' notice that I would be calling out for my next shift on my way out. He can keep scheduling me for prime events if he wants, but my availability just went to Saturday night only. That next Saturday I gave him notice of, because I'm not that kind of dick to no call, no show. Oh, it's this Saturday, you know, New Year's Eve? Because of licensing in this state, there is a good chance that the managers themselves will have to work the bar. The other bars on site are already thin on workers. I have other work lined up. This was just keeping me busy anyway. I'm lolling about it tonight. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Spinning Plates, episode 198. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Before you go, please do give the like button a very firm poke. Okay, let's see. I don't believe there's any shoutouts. No, so let's move right along to Hellfreezer's question of the day. And today's question is, what, in your opinion, is something that is very overrated, like a piece of media? Now, we're not putting anyone's personal taste down or disparaging things that people enjoy, just your personal opinion. For example, I just do not get Lord of the Rings. I've tried, it's never clicked for me. It never will. And that's fine, not everything's for everyone. But what are some of yours? Please leave your answers in a comment below. And with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.